So I'd like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. It's Christmas Day today, and it's a day for Christians all around the world of great rejoicing. Today, a Saviour has been born to us. His name is Christ the Lord, and we have celebrated his birth into our world. And for many people, this beautiful moment is, for lots of people, just like a chocolate box occasion where it's cozy, it's lovely, there's the manger, there's Mary and Joseph and the baby Jesus, it's all cutie, cutie, cutie. But actually, if you look at the Christmas as it's related to us in the Bible, it wasn't cute and it wasn't easy and it wasn't lovely. And that's kind of like, for me, a real paradox of Christmas. We aim for this cozy, lovely Christmas, yet the original Christmas was nothing like that at all. It was actually really difficult, it was really hard, and Mary and Joseph are just absolute heroes who have, they set us such a huge example of how we can live our faith as well, our faith in God. So if we think about it, so Mary is probably about 16 or something, and the angel comes to her. She's betrothed to her husband, so they got married very young. Her husband, Joseph, would have been a lot older, so he might have been about 30 or something. She was about 16. That was very common at the time for marriage to take place like that. So Mary is betrothed to Joseph, which is a pledge. They're pledged to each other in marriage, but she's still living with her parents. So they're not moved in with each other yet. And the angel appears to Mary and says to her, "You're going to conceive and bear a son, and his name will be Jesus. He's going to be the Son of God." Okay, so I mean, that's just a bit of a mind bender, isn't it? I mean, imagine that. You're just putting out the washing one day, or I don't know what you're doing. Maybe she was reading, maybe she was praying, and this angel appears and that completely blows her life apart and says to her, "You're going to be the mother of the Son of God, and yet you're going to conceive in your womb now, and you're going to be the mother of God's Son." So, I mean, then Joseph, he finds this out, and this is the bonkers bit. So Joseph, he obviously loves her very much, and he thinks that this beautiful, innocent, lovely girl that he's going to marry, had his eye on for a while maybe, that she's gone and slept with someone else. And this breaks his heart, absolutely breaks his heart, that he thinks, he probably thinks it's unimaginable that she could do that. But there she is pregnant, so what else can he conclude? So he decides he has two options at this point. Option one is to formally, publicly divorce her and say that she's an absolute harlot and get her stoned, because that's the punishment of having a child outside of marriage, get stoned, or of adultery, get stoned. And so that's his one option. His other option is to quietly and privately divorce her, saving her from embarrassment. And because as the Bible tells us he's a good man, that's what he does. He privately divorces her so as not to cause a fuss, because he's actually still probably really loves her, but he's still heartbroken. So that's what's happening. And then an angel appears to him in a dream. Thank goodness God did that, because poor old Joseph was probably just having a really, really bad time. And he says to him, yeah, actually her baby is from God. She hasn't been sleeping around. She's not been unfaithful to you. Take her into your home as your wife, and you are now going to be the father-in-law, foster father of the Son of God. I mean, imagine that. Imagine that, your life again has been blown apart. Not only is your wife conceived from God, but then actually you're going to be the foster dad of the Son of God. I mean, imagine, you wouldn't even want to let Jesus out your door. Imagine the pressure that you're feeling in that moment. This is huge. I mean, imagine that God's Son was your son. And you had to look after him and make sure he actually got to a point in his life where he's able to do what God had intended him to do. I mean, this is just immense. And that's Christmas. And then, so their trust, they had a deep sense of trust, deep sense of love of God. And then not only that, she's 9 months pregnant, Mary, and then they've got to make this massive journey, about 2 days journey, I think, maybe 3 days journey from Nazareth down to Bethlehem. And we understand she did it on a donkey. They could have walked, could have been on a donkey. Imagine that. I mean, most normal women, if they could have, they would have phoned up. Actually, we're meant to be coming down, but we can't do it because actually I'm 9 months pregnant. I might give birth at any moment. And what do they do? Well, there's no phones, obviously. So they just get on the back of the donkey and go down 3 days journey with a 9 month pregnant woman. They did not need that hassle or stress at Christmas. Or it wasn't Christmas yet, was it? Because he hadn't been born. They did not need that stress at the time. Again, they showed great faith, great courage, great trust in God. And that is the real meaning of Christmas. Trusting in the power of God working in our lives. And God often disrupts our lives in ways that we don't want them to be disrupted. But it always works out in His plan for the better. So I wish you a very, very Merry Christmas, and I hope that somehow you allow God to disturb your life in this coming year, that you may have a deeper and closer relationship with Him, because that's what Christmas is all about.